Hi, welcome back to Everyday Makers. I'm Dan. The day is finally here. We're going to start on the shop door build. I'm so excited. Finally got my materials, and we're just going to dive into it, so stick around. Alright, welcome back. So, shop door build today. Well, I started yesterday, but I'm going to walk you through some of the processes that I go through in making this style door. As I've said before, I made this same style door for my daughter's treehouse outside. It's called a shaker style. It's called rail and style. Whatever you want to call it, panel door as well. It looks the best to me for what I can do in my shop and the skills that I have. So got my notes here. I'm just going to kind of go through some of the stuff for the door opening right here behind me. My width opening is 37.5 and the height is 79.75. So that's my rough opening that I have back there. Don't mind all of this other stuff here. Yeah, just kind of block that out, or maybe I'll sit in front of that. There we go. So yeah, that's kind of my rough opening, and then I'm going to kind of do this kind of 2-panel door here. Hopefully you can see that. Don't necessarily need to see all the other chicken scratch, but so the stiles, they call it rail and style. The stiles are your vertical pieces that will go up and down right here, and then the rails go across. So there'll be a top, a bottom rail, and a mid rail, and then paneling in between those. It's all tongue and groove, and I will kind of show you what I've been doing so far. I've already made the cuts for my stiles and 2 of my rails. I had to go get some more wood to finish the 3rd rail, and we'll kind of walk through that. I actually have some of it right here. So I've already cut, this is one of the stiles, the vertical pieces. As you can see, I've done the groove down in there for the tongue and groove. I did that on the table saw, had a little help. I'm doing these longer pieces up on their edge, doing multiple passes. If you don't have a roll-off table or a roller catch system, they make roller stands, which I need. It's best to have someone to kind of hold the end as you're pushing it through. So I got these done. I got 2 of these. Those are ready to go. And then over here, this is one of my rails that has the tongue in it. So that's done. On the top and the bottom, I'll need to put a groove on one side to accept the paneling that's going to go inside. And then on the mid rail, there'll need to be grooves on each side and tongues on each end. So I have to cut my mid rail, do the grooves on 2 rails, well, all 3 of the rails, and then the tongues on 1 of the rails. So we're going to go over to the table saw and work on it. Okay, over here at the table saw, I have my height dialed in for my grooves, and so before I change anything to do the tongues on my last rail, I'm going to finish cutting all the grooves so that all the grooves are the same and consistent. Since I have that dialed in, I spent a lot of time yesterday doing some test pieces and getting my depth perfectly dialed in the way I want it. So I have my feather board set up here. I will basically do this, doing 1 pass. I have a single blade on the table saw, do a pass, turn it, do another pass, and then just hollow it out to get our groove. It's pretty simple. And you can watch some wonderful time lapse of me making grooves in a bunch of pieces of wood. Safety first. Okay, so that's that. It was what, 6 passes per board? Not terrible. But now I have one piece that has both the tongue and the groove on it. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time just running a chisel through here, just kind of clean it up a little bit. And when I come back, I'll have my middle rail cut. Probably won't show you that. It's just going to the chop saw and cutting one more piece of my stock here, which is, it's some different wood that I'm using. It is select pine that I get from Menards, but it's 5/4 wide. So it's 5/4 wide by 4. So it's a 5/4 by 4. I wanted that extra little bit of beef in the door. I didn't want to use a 1x4. I just wanted that little bit of extra weight to this door. They're a little bit pricier because it's a non-standard cut, and they only have them in a few lengths, but I think it's going to be perfect for this door. So when I come back over here, I'll have my last rail ready to go, and we'll cut the grooves in that, then do the tongues, and then dry fit it. So I messed up. On my rails, I did I don't know where I got the measurement from. I looked back at my math, and even looking at it, I wrote it all out. I can't tell where I came up with the numbers. But I was 4 inches too long on these. I don't know where I got that 4 inches from. But I caught it. Had to chop off the end, so now I have more tongues to do. I have 4 tongues instead of just 2. And the tongues are kind of a pain. Not a pain, they're just time consuming. So I am going to do the grooves on my mid rail. So those are done. And then I will reset the table saw because I have to take my feather boards off, do a new depth on the blade and on the T-square. So you're going to watch me do all of that probably in time lapse because it's going to be pretty boring. And then we'll kind of talk about everything and hopefully get it dry fitted today. I just realized I should have been making cuts on both sides. Should have done my first 2 cuts on one side and the other. Second cuts on one side, then the other. I didn't though. So now I have to reset the fence and do it all again on this side. Okay. That's our middle rail with a groove on each side. Got to cut tongues on both sides of this and one side of each of the ones that I screwed up. So we'll do that next. Okay, so I'm just resetting my blade depth for these. Needs to be 5/16 because that is the thickness of the walls on either side of my groove. So that would be this depth here from the outside of the wood to the tongue. And then I will start 1/2 inch from the T-square to the outside of the blade, not the inside. So I can't use this because this measures to the inside. So I have to measure that off 1/2 inch. Then I'll creep it back and do that on all of them. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. All right. Pulling out the cross-cutting slide and making a lot of cuts. I might sit down because this is where I got this tip from Adam Savage, who I reference a lot on this channel, I know, but I watched a lot of his videos. These monotonous over and over and over and over cuts that I have to do a ton of times, this is where you injure yourself. So it's really important to stay focused and keep track of safety. Yeah. So here we go. Tell you that mid rail is probably the coolest piece, just because of how it turns out on the ends. Looks really complicated when you look at it not knowing how you got there, but it's really not that bad. Those are ready. I'm suspecting I'm going to have to do some cleanup on these. I don't know if they'll fit right off the bat. I try to go snug on my fit because it's easier to shave a little bit of wood off with the chisel than it is to try and put wood back on. So I'm going to prepare to do that. Let's go. So you can see I've got a few gaps here that I'm going to need to address a little bit. This isn't all the way down at the bottom because I ran out of workbench to put it all the way at the bottom. Yeah, a little bit here. All in all, I'm pretty happy with the direction we're heading. So that rail will be all the way at the bottom. Plywood in between each, so you can see we have our channel all through here, through there, it goes up there, all the way around. So I can take my 1/2 inch plywood, it's going to be a little bit of a loose fit, which I'm totally fine with. And plop it on in there, and we will be good to go. We'll have a door. And then we'll figure out how to hang it together, because I'm totally not sure about that. Yeah, cool. All right. So, that's it for me today. I was not able to get the paneling for this because the pieces I needed would not fit in my car. So I got to take the van back in a couple days and get the plywood for it, and yeah, we'll work on it this weekend. But for you, it's going to be about 5 seconds. So I'll see you guys in about 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, welcome back. I guess not back, but for me back. Like I said, it's been 3 days. Got my plywood. I've got some 1/2 inch ACX from Menards. I'm not sure what the ACX stands for. I guess I could look it up. I've never really asked. But I know it is sanded on one side. It's a nice ply. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 ply for 1/2 inch. Yeah, it just looks nice. So I did my measurements. I know my width of what I need the sections to do or to be, and then I've just kind of arbitrarily made decisions on the height of each panel. And there's no real formula for that I know of. I'm just making one a little bit smaller than the other, so it's kind of just got some proportion to it. So you can make them however you want. So I just measured the width of my rails, which was 31 1/8, and that's including the tongues on each end. And I took a 1/16 off of that just to give me a little bit of wiggle room. So hopefully it fits in nice and easy, and I don't have to go back and take a little piece off. So I've got everything clamped down. I'm hoping I can clear right there. Make my first cut, and we'll go from there. All right, I'm happy with that. Yes, I could use the table saw for this, but I hate doing big sheets like this by myself on the table saw. And using a circular saw is fine, you know, as long as you, especially when I'm doing tongue and groove like this, it's going to hide any little imperfections that I have. So as long as I don't go too wide on my measurement and then have to come back and sand or plane off that, then I should be fine. So while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to lock the wheels of my table so it stops rolling on me. All right, time to do the height. Okay, piece is done. While I've got it here and clamped down, I'm going to do some sanding. One down, one to go. I do buy this. I buy this in 4x4 sheets. Sometimes I'll buy it in the 2x4 sheets. Just depending on what I need. I just find it way more convenient that Menards sells all different kinds of sizes of plywood. You can get 2x2, 2x2, 2x4, 4x4, and 4x8 in most of their variations of plywood. So instead of having to bring home a big 4x8 sheet and rip it and do all that, I've got two 4x4s. Much easier to handle. So. Okay, so got everything cut, everything's sanded. I think everything's about test fit. I'm going to do a dry fit here of, well, hopefully all of it. Make sure it all goes together, and then I will start gluing. So let's see what we can do. I don't have enough space to be doing this. There we go. There we go. Whew. It's difficult by yourself. Okay, we're close. It'll snug up a little bit more when I can get this bottom panel seated, but as you can see, we're about there. So I'm going to take this all apart, and I'm going to kind of have it like I did. I'm going to stand it up, and I only have two clamps that are big enough to do this, so trying to decide how exactly I'm going to do this. Lots of glue in there. Okay. Hard part is keeping this flush up here. Ideally, I would have a long clamp that would bring it all together too, but I don't have that, and I'm not going to get one. I think we're going to put a small amount of glue in here for the plywood. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Let's not be in a rush. Nice and easy. Lots of glue. Okay. I'm not even going to put in the other panel. We're just going to glue these two and then if all my math was correct, the other panel should slide in, the bottom should slide in, and we'll be good to go. Yeah, that I like. I like that very much. Okay, so clamp on here. I'm really trusting my cuts and my math. It should work to just slide that other piece in here, pop the bottom on, glue it, clamp it up tomorrow. Should work. It should have a door. We should be hanging this tomorrow. Maybe. Alright. That's it for today. This is sitting overnight. I'll come back tomorrow and hopefully do what I just talked about. Alright. It's the next day. As you can see, I've taken off the clamps from the top and the middle, and I have dry fit the bottom. It fits wonderfully this way, side to side. Not so much down here. As you can see, my stiles are a 1/2 inch long. I'm pretty sure when I was doing my measure, what I did was I thought I had the measurement right. I knew how much space I needed the paneling to cover. So I took the whole distance, I subtracted these, the rails, and had a measurement and said, okay, here's how much I need this to cover, and then I added the length of the grooves, which are 1/2 inch each, and I'm exactly a 1/2 inch off. What I think I did is I added 1/2, 1/2, 1/2. So I added 3/2 for 1.5 inches. What I should have done was added 1, 2, 3, 4 for 2 inches. Then it would have been right on. Because I mean, it is literally, I measured it, it's perfectly 1/2 inch over on each side. So, been thinking all morning about what to do. My options are cut a 1/2 inch chunk of this and put it in the bottom of this to fill that gap. I don't really care for that option, because then this panel, it'll flop and you'll see that gap, and I don't really want that. What I think I'm going to do is snug this all up, transfer a line from where this rail ends across, just cut those, take these up a 1/2 inch. I'm going to be a 1/2 inch shorter on my door, but I'm probably going to put like a brush edge along the bottom, like a sort of weather stripping, but an indoor weather stripping that's kind of like a brush, just to keep dust from going from here out into the rest of the basement. So I think that's the plan. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's what you're going to watch in time lapse. So here we go. I already messed up. I wanted to transfer the measurement with this on, and I just took it right off. So now I gotta put it back on, transfer the measurement, and then get it back off. It's not a big deal. It's a snug fit, so it just takes a little bit. Victory! Yeah. A little bit of sanding to do. A little bit, but not much. It's perfect. I'm going to put glue on it, clamp it, and yeah, then we're this close to done. I'm about to run to the store actually while this is being glued to get hinges and hardware. So hopefully tomorrow this gets hung up. So here we go. Alright, so I have a problem. I'm going to do handheld for this. I have a problem with patience. So I got so excited when I brought home all of the hardware and everything for the door because I had finished it up. I sanded it. I didn't video this finished sanding because I just used a palm sander and sanded it. Brought home all the hardware and everything, and I put it all on and put it together and didn't video a single bit of it until I was finished and said, man, I was supposed to video all of that because I'm trying to yeah, I'm trying to chronicle all of this. But I'm gonna show you the finished door. It looks nice. There's a few things, hold on, I gotta turn you around here, which I have to, hold on here. There we go. Few things I didn't really do very well. You can kind of see it's not quite, it doesn't quite close to where I wanted it to. I used spring hinges, so it's automatically closing. So I can open it and it closes. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. So I should have videotaped all of it, but I didn't. I've got a little push panel there. I put a little door stop on it down there. It's looking pretty good. I hand mortised the, well, I hand cut the mortises for the joints in the wall and in the door with a chisel. I just kind of traced the outline of the hinge and used a chisel. I think my big problem is I went a little deep on this one. So that's my problem with it not closing. It's too far this way, the hinges. But it's doing its job for what I want, which is just keep some dust in the shop, keep some noise out of the rest of the house. But it's finished. Sorry, I'm going to close that. It's done. And it's in. So hopefully I did showed you guys enough that if you wanted to do something like this, you'd kind of have an idea. So yeah, thanks for watching the door build. Make sure you like and subscribe, share this with other people. Let me know what you think, if you think it's terrible or if there's a way that I can fix that little gap there. I mean, I could probably take the door off and use like a plane or something like that and sand down this jamb right here, or plane that down. That might give me a little bit more of the closure I'm looking for. But yeah, for right now, I'm pretty happy with it. So I come downstairs and I've like almost forget that I've built it, and I walk to my shop and I'm like, oh, hey, there's a door there now. So there it is. Let me know what you think, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.
Are you filming?
Huh?
Are you filming?
I am, yes.
Why?